Graduate was the main topic of the lecture. Teaching and career was also mentioned. Guidance and computer was also given. To conclude, the lecture is very informative. Are you also facing same issue? Are you also not able to get marks in speaking and listening module? Are you also hesitating? Don't worry. I have a solution for you. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about Retell Lecture and how you can get full marks in listening module, full marks in speaking module. But did you know speaking contributes 15 marks approximately from Retell Lecture if you get 3 of them? That means out of 90, 15 marks comes from this task alone. And it is really easy to get full marks from this task towards your listening module. Hello everyone, this is Vishal from VLE. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about the Retell Lecture, the marking criteria, and how you can get full marks in this task. What are the 3 important components you need to take care of when you perform this task, and how you can avoid the mistakes like I was making, such as hesitations, thinking pauses, not having enough content. I can help you in this task, but you have to stay tuned till the very end, because by the end of this video, you will be very confident with this particular task. You will start to get at least 14 out of 15 by the end of the tutorial. Let's talk about the marking structure to start with. Content, fluency and pronunciation. CFP. Just remember this. Let's start with the content. How do you get marks for the content, and how many marks do you get? Every Retell lecture gives you 5 marks for the content, guys. And in order to get 5 out of 5, you need to perform it good in terms of the keywords. Sometimes students are not able to get enough keywords, and that's why they do not get enough scores. So if you could see the scores which I was struggling with, you must have noticed that I have only got 1 mark in the content. That means I was not having enough nouns, enough keywords. So what you have to do is you have to make sure that you capture more nouns. How many nouns do you need? At least you need 15 keywords. 15 keywords will give you 5 out of 5. If you have somewhere around 10 to 12, you will get somewhere around 4 out of 5. And if you have less than 10 keywords, you will get below 3 marks for the content. Always try to capture more than 12 keywords, guys, because this will impact your listening marks. Yes, content directly impacts the listening module. And that's why when students don't perform good with the content, the listening marks decreases. So to start with, what you have to do is you have to capture at least 12 to 13 keywords in every single Retell lecture. Sometimes in the exam, you do get shorter lectures, but don't worry. You need to make sure that if you are even getting around 12 to 13, you will still get full marks. Now, what are nouns? Nouns could be place, a concept, name of the person. It can be common noun, it can be proper noun. So you have to capture all these keywords. Now some students might feel difficulty in taking down the notes. What you have to do is, guys, you have to start writing shorthand. Now when it comes to the shorthand, you do not have to write everything. You have to only write abbreviations, 2 to 3 letters of every single word, and that will do the job. Now guys, this is really important that whenever you perform this task, you need to write as much as possible, so that when it comes to this particular task, you don't have to worry about missing out in the content portion. Now let's say you get 2 in the exam, that means you're getting 10 marks for the content. Now guys, 10 marks will make all the difference. So you can get 10 out of 10 in this task. It's really easy. So make sure that you capture enough content, enough nouns, and you will be able to get full marks for the listening module. Now guys, sometimes students try to repeat some of the words. That's the worst case scenario case. That means if you don't have enough keywords, then and then only repeat certain words. But don't repeat more than 2 times. Okay, and that way you will be able to make sure that you get full marks for the content from Retell Lecture. I hope you're liking this video. If you're facing difficulties in any of the tasks, any of the modules, don't forget to put it in the comment section. I try to reply to every single comment. Even if your exam is coming or you've just started preparing, you can put down your mistake, your error, your confusion, your doubt in the comment section. Now let's talk about the another component, which is fluency. Now fluency also gives you 5 marks. Now when it comes to fluency, you need to make sure the very first thing, which is thinking pauses, you need to avoid this particular thing. Now what happens is that when it comes to Retell lecture, you take down the notes on the notebook, right? And when you actually start to figure out which word is important, which word is not important, or sometimes you get confused with your own handwriting, and that's why you start thinking about the next word, and that's the reason you start taking thinking pauses. This is really important, that you need to avoid thinking pauses. Whatever words comes into your mind when you're looking at your notes, just speak and move on. Do not self-correct. Do not take hesitations. Otherwise, you will get the marks you can see on the screen. You will get a lot of penalties for the fluency, because you would end up getting less marks due to pauses, due to hesitations, due to self-corrections. So you need to make sure when it comes to fluency, speak one sentence, finish one sentence, then move on with a pause, and then complete the second sentence, and do it all over again and again until you don't finish your template. That means you have to finish an entire sentence in one go. Then you can take a little natural pause, then repeat the second sentence, take a natural pause, and same thing you have to do until you don't finish up your answer. This way you will get always 5 out of 5 for the fluency. And students who are struggling in speaking, this can really help you to boost up your marks in the speaking module as well. Now, once you have scored good marks in fluency, the next thing you need to look after is your pronunciation. Pronunciation also gives you 5 marks. You do not need to rush when you're speaking. Speak as clear as possible and maintain continuous pace so that your intonations are not there. Because if you take a lot of intonations, that means if you try to give a lot of stress to the words, that's going to harm your pronunciation marks. Now, students sometimes what they do, they try to speak some words more louder with giving more stress, and they think they're going to get better pronunciation. But guys, this mess up your pitch, because with PTE, you cannot take a lot of intonations. You need to be stable. You cannot take a lot of stresses. So avoid this mistake when you are speaking, when you're doing speaking tasks. On top of this, with pronunciation, let's say if you're not sure about a certain word, if you do not know how to pronounce that particular word, don't worry. Skip that word. You would have enough other words to speak. So always try to avoid the difficult words, because you will not only make mistakes in pronunciation, but sometimes you can make a fumble, you can self-correct, you can hesitate, and that will also impact your fluency as well. So only focus on the words which you are sure of. Now guys, I'm going to give you a golden tip. You get 10 seconds before you start speaking. So what you have to do in those 10 seconds, quickly go through your notes and make sure that you decide which words you're not going to speak. That way, you will not get stuck up with those difficult words, and that way you can maintain the flow, pronunciation, and also cover up enough content. Now, let me apply all these applications and let me do one for you guys so that you know how to actually perform it. And by using the same principles, you can start getting 14 out of 15 marks.
All of my research and that I conducted with my 60 plus graduate students was motivated by the need to learn so that we can teach. Of course, and some inventions happened along the way, but I've always considered the end, the result. And I always consider that this invention to be byproducts of the learning process. The end product for me was always better understanding, or when one really succeeded in unifying theory that can help us in teaching the subject. I've also looked at teaching as a vehicle to try new ideas of new ways to doing things on an intelligent group of learners. That is as the vehicle for the teaching research results. And in my experience, this kind of teaching is the most stimulating and motivating to students. I'll also uncover many interesting research problems in the course of teaching assumption. It is this unity of research and teaching, their close connection, and the benefits gathered by exercising and the interplay that to me characterizes the successful professor.
So it's 16 graduate. Research in 60 was the main topic of the lecture. Graduate and students was also mentioned. Teaching and inventions was also highlighted. Learning and process was also discussed. Teaching and ideas was also given. Intelligent and learners was also elaborated. Assumptions and clues was also told. Connections and characters were also highlighted. To conclude, the lecture was very informative. Now you guys must have noticed that I have picked a lot of keywords, but I only spoke those ones which I knew were important, and I also spoke some words from the top, some words from the middle, some words from the end. That means I'm covering the entire lecture. So make sure that you do this as well when you attempt this question. Now let's check out the scoring. Okay guys, so you can see on the screen, let me erase all the notes. Now I've got 14.5 out of 15, and that means you can also do the same. If I have done it, you guys can also do it. Follow all the principles. The template is really easy. Just speak single words, and that's it. You do not need to speak a lot of phrases. This will definitely improve your marks in speaking and in listening as well, at least by 10 marks. If you get 2 Retell lectures, and if you get 3, you will get 15 marks better than what you were doing earlier. I hope this video was helpful. This tutorial was helpful. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. Now, again, guys, if you're facing difficulties, you can put it in the comment section. And yes, if you have not gone through our Instagram channel, make sure to follow it now, because over there, we keep on posting daily tips which can help you in your PTE journey. Thank you, guys. All the best. Vishal is signing off from VLE. I'll see you in our next tutorial.